October 21st. What have you got for us? So the first aspect at 12:20 is Mars and Pluto, right? Now, this is asking us to really put some stuff in order, right? So Mars at 19 degrees of Scorpio, that is a Libra degree. So this is going to have to do with how you take action in relationships in regards to like deep emotional spaces, in regards to potentially taboo topics, okay? And really with looking at where, when you are not being your full self, when you are holding back, when you are repressing your own needs and emotions, this is going to be looking at where that packs up your authentic energy, where that takes power away from you. Okay. Now, this could also be having some secrets come out of the closet. All right. Now, 2:28 a.m., we get a bit of a compromise energy that's going to be needed because we're sort of maybe feeling a little bit more confident about relationships, right? We're coming into this energy of being able to get the balance correct if you've been doing the work and following the energy. So this is where, we look into this future space of like maybe something that's a little bit uncomfortable, but something that we know we need in order to feel good about ourselves. And we have to maybe compromise either where we're going in the future or our relationship dynamic that we are in, right? Then at 5:44 a.m., we get a semi-sextile aspect. And this is going to be a little bit annoying. Okay, this is Mars in Scorpio. This is the moon in Libra, right? So just the fact that Libra likes people and Scorpio doesn't trust anyone, that causes a bit of a problem here, right? And then 19 degrees is the Libra degree. So a semi-sextile is sort of, it's asking you to be open-minded, right? Because both of these energies, they kind of get along, but they don't really have the same beliefs, right? They have some things in common, but of course, one is a bit more trusting than the other one, right? So, how are you moving forward? What is the action that you are taking? Are you holding parts of yourself back? Okay. Now, it wants to be harmonious, but you can find it a bit difficult to sort of see, right? So, this could just be somebody getting in your way as well, right? Mars being motivation, Mars being moving forward. It could be somebody kind of getting in your way or an issue kind of getting in your way of moving forward or following it, what it is that you really want to be doing, right? And then we get this semi-sextile again, but it's to Mercury. And like Mars and Mercury are going to be moving together for a little bit. So we get this energy here, which is now we have to really try and make sense of some kind of mentality, right? Or we need to have a conversation. So this is either going to be like waking up and needing to have a conversation in order to get clarity, or it's like waking up and realizing that a mentality has shifted or needs to shift because that 1:04 p.m., that semi-sextile to Lilith, that's happening at an Aquarius degree, right? So that's going to be about your authentic energy, and that's going to be about any shame and guilt that you've potentially held onto in that space. And trying to get rid of it because that next one at 2:22 p.m., that biquintal to the north node, that's letting something go, right? You need to let go of an idea in order to move forward. Now, likely that is where you have kind of uncovered what that idea is that needs to be gone in that earlier aspect because that moon's still at 23 degrees of Libra. So there is something about your authenticity. There's something about your self-expression and who you are as a person, and that you're not really showing, that you aren't really getting the balance right off. And it's like uncovering those things, 623 and then 104, uncovering and understanding where they're coming from, which is like this point of rejecting yourself or this point of being made to feel guilt and shame. And we have to like move forward past that. We have to let that go, that whatever that mentality was that was keeping that part of you in the dark needs to be let go if you want to continue forward and have playful and fun and enjoying relationships. Then the moon's going to square Jupiter. Okay, now that square is happening at a Pisces degree. So it is this moment of friction that is trying to get growth. It's trying to get you to take action towards growth, but it has to come through this tension moment. Now, the moon at 24 degrees of Libra is trying to really integrate and understand the effects of relationship trauma from the past on your current relationships, right? And that's potentially what you've overcome and where you figured out your authentic kind of self was hiding, right, from past trauma. And so this Jupiter at 24 degrees of Cancer, that is about, expansion of the family space, expansion of the idea of safety, expansion of the idea of feeling nurtured and kind of the mother. And over the last few days, we've really been looking into that space in regards to now you can see it from this bigger perspective. You can understand, how these emotional programs from childhood and the way that your parents kind of were when you were growing up, how they affect your current relationships. So this square to Jupiter, this could be a fight within your family. This could be, maybe telling your family about a partner that they disagree with, maybe putting your foot down in a family space about having time for your relationship outside of maybe the kids, right? But it's something along those lines where something's not quite working and there needs to be an understanding and an integration in order to move forward through it, right? But it could literally be a fight. So super fun that it's at school pickup time. So then at 3:59 p.m., okay, we're having to let something go. We need to let something go. And this is going to be around maybe how you were seeing something, right? Not being open enough to how somebody else was seeing it, not being curious enough, maybe not communicating enough, right? So this could potentially just be the need to let go of not communicating when there is something that needs to be worked through, okay? And like mental health warning, okay? 4:04 p.m., moon opposition to Chiron, right? So this is happening at the Pisces degree. So it does want integration and understanding and healing. However, these two energies are going to have a little bit of a fight for dominance, right? So the moon in Libra is going to be trying to say, but we want relationships. And that Chiron in Aries is going to be trying to say, but like, who am I in a relationship? Right. And so then vice versa, the Aries is saying I am, and the Libra is saying you are. So it's a little battle where you kind of are wanting to be yourself, be your full self. And that Libra energy, which can come through as a little bit of a people pleaser, right? And 24 degrees at the Pisces degree. And that can really be an overgiver as well of healing. So it's kind of this overgiving to others energy versus wounding that makes us overgive and makes us put ourselves second, right? Or last in some of the cases. So that could really be a moment in a relationship dynamic, especially if you have kind of come out of that fighting space with that square to Jupiter. That's really a relationship moment that's going to be a bit of a battle for you to stand up for yourself, right? For you to put yourself first, for you to understand, how that relationship is upholding childhood wound belief systems, okay? And then that's where we get to this inner belief system needing a compromise, right? At 7:23 with this quincunx, right? And this could just be like a lot of fucking tension on really trying to change something, shift something. But a quincunx aspect, or inconjunct if you like it wants a decision, but you need to be flexible, right? That's why I'm always calling them compromise aspects. It's like you might not be able to get a resolution out of it. You might not be able to lock something in, right? Because, of course, Saturn is still retrograding. So then we get to the Sun conjunct the Moon, which is the new moon in Libra, okay? So as you can see, once we get to that 11:25, some of these earlier aspects, like it is still opposing within a couple of degrees, right? Sun conjunct the Moon, opposing that Chiron wound, right? Squaring Jupiter in Cancer. So technically, the new moon in Libra is battling your childhood wound in a tug of war, and it is having a fight with everything you learned from your childhood, because this new moon in Libra is trying to have us believe that we deserve nurturing relationships with people. And to do that, we are planting new seeds, new moon, right? Planting these new seeds of what we believe a relationship should feel like in regards to nurturing, in regards to support. And we are challenging what we thought we knew from the childhood wound, okay? So massive day. Great day for any kind of renewal of relationship energy or worthiness within relationship, okay? So get out under the moon. Not that you'll be able to see it, but get out there. Stay weird.